You said sorry to a chair. Not a person, a chair. You bumped into it walking past, and before your brain even processed what happened, the word was already out. Sorry. And the strange part? That makes complete sense. Because the same thing happens when someone walks into you on the street. When you're standing in a doorway and someone needs to pass. When a colleague makes a mistake in a meeting and you feel the urge to apologize on their behalf. You know it wasn't your fault. You know you didn't do anything wrong. But the word still comes out, automatically, before you even decide to say it. There is a very specific reason your brain does this. And once you understand it, you will never see your apologies the same way again. Let's start with something most people get completely wrong about over-apologizing. Most people think it's a confidence problem. That you apologize too much because you don't value yourself enough. That if you just believed in yourself more, the unnecessary sorries would stop. But that's not what the research says. And here's the first thing that might surprise you. Over-apologizing has almost nothing to do with confidence. It has everything to do with threat detection. Studies estimate the average person says sorry between 8 and 20 times a day. And most of those apologies are for things they didn't cause. Read that again. Most of your daily apologies are for things you didn't do. Not because you're confused, not because you're weak, but because your brain has a system running underneath every social interaction, one that most people never know exists. Stay with me, because this is where it gets interesting. Your brain is running a threat monitoring system every second of every day. Not just for physical threats, lions, traffic, falling objects, but for social threats too. Conflict, tension, disapproval, someone being upset with you. To your brain, social threats and physical threats activate the same alarm system. The fawn response, your brain's fourth survival mechanism alongside fight, flight, and freeze, is triggered specifically when social conflict feels dangerous. Most people know about fight, flight, and freeze. But think about how rarely anyone talks about the fourth one. The one your brain uses most in everyday life. The one that explains not just why you apologize, but why you feel responsible for other people's emotions, why you over-explain yourself, and why you sometimes feel exhausted just from being around people. It's called fawn. And it's the response that operates so quietly, you've probably never noticed it running. Here's what the fawn response actually feels like in real life. Someone raises their voice in the room, not at you, just near you. And immediately, without thinking, you feel the urge to make everything okay. To smooth it over. To step in and fix the tension before it grows into something worse. That feeling, that automatic pull toward appeasement, is fawn. Your brain scanning for social danger and reaching for the fastest solution it has. And when your brain detects social tension, disagreement, awkwardness, someone's displeasure, it does something very specific. It tries to make that tension disappear as fast as possible. Not by confronting it, not by running from it, but by appeasing it, smoothing it over. Making the other person feel okay, even at your own expense. And the fastest, most efficient tool your brain has for doing that? Sorry. One word. Instant tension reduction. The fawn response is described as becoming more appealing to the perceived threat, and apologizing is one of the most immediate ways your brain does exactly that. So when someone bumps into you and you say sorry, your brain isn't confused about who caused the collision. Your brain spotted a microsecond of social awkwardness and eliminated it before it could grow into anything uncomfortable. That's not weakness. That's your nervous system doing its job at lightning speed. And here's something worth sitting with for a moment. You've probably done this today, maybe this morning, maybe in the last hour. A tiny sorry that slipped out before you made a single conscious decision. Your brain was already 3 steps ahead of you. That explains the reflex. But it still doesn't answer the deeper question. Why does your brain treat a stranger's mild inconvenience as a survival situation in the first place? Why does a moment of awkwardness, something that will be forgotten in 30 seconds, trigger the same system your brain uses for genuine danger? And the answer to that goes back to something that happened long before phones, before cities, before any of this existed. Something your brain still believes is true about the world, even though the world changed completely. For most of human history, your survival depended entirely on your group, your tribe, the people around you. If you caused conflict within the group, if people were upset with you, your place in that group became uncertain. And an uncertain place in the group meant a dangerous life. So your brain evolved an incredibly sensitive conflict detection system. Think about what that actually means. Your brain spent thousands of years being rewarded for keeping the peace. Every time you smoothed over tension, you survived. Every time you apologized before things escalated, relationships held. Every time you made yourself smaller so the group stayed intact, you lived another day. Your brain learned that lesson so deeply, it never unlearned it. One that spotted social tension early, responded to it fast, and resolved it before it could escalate into something that threatened your belonging. Apologizing, even when you weren't at fault, was one of the most effective tools for doing this. It signaled, I am not a threat. I value this relationship. I want peace. It kept you safe. It kept you connected. It kept you in the group. The fawn response is a survival strategy wired into the nervous system, rooted in environments where keeping the peace was essential to staying safe. The problem is, that ancient system is still running. In a world where bumping into a stranger on the street carries zero threat to your survival. The fawn response is the genius of the nervous system orchestrating peace where none was needed. A deeply adaptive strategy that solved real problems in the past, but fires in situations that no longer require it. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a genuine social threat and a mildly awkward moment in a coffee shop queue. It just knows, tension detected, resolve it, now. And so you say sorry. To the person who walked into you, to the chair you bumped into, to the colleague whose mistake had nothing to do with you. Your ancient survival system, still doing its job, in a world where that job is no longer necessary. And the strangest part? The person you apologized to? They've already forgotten it happened. The only one still carrying that moment is you. Now here's the part that completely reframes everything you just learned. Because understanding the fawn response isn't just about explaining why you over-apologize. It reveals something about you that most people would never guess from the outside. Apologizing excessively, even when not at fault, is one of the most recognizable signs of this response, alongside struggling to express disagreement and feeling anxious when prioritizing your own needs. If you recognize yourself in that list, here's what it actually means. It means your brain is extraordinarily well attuned to the emotional states of people around you. It means you care deeply about the quality of your relationships. It means you'd rather absorb a moment of discomfort yourself than let it land on someone else. These are not small things. These are qualities that make you someone people feel safe around, someone people trust, someone people genuinely want in their lives. The same system that makes you over-apologize also makes you the person in the room who notices when someone is struggling before they say a word. The person who defuses tension before it becomes conflict. The person who holds relationships together without anyone realizing it. The fawn response isn't who you are, it's what you learn to do. And recognizing it isn't about shame, it's about clarity. So what do you actually do with this? Here's the one shift that changes everything. The next time you catch yourself saying sorry for something that wasn't your fault, don't try to stop it. Instead, just notice it for what it actually is. Your brain protecting a relationship it values. And then ask yourself one question. Is this relationship worth that protection? Because when the answer is yes, that apology isn't weakness. It's one of the most human things you can do. It's your brain saying, I care more about this connection than about being right. But when the answer is no, when you're apologizing to a stranger who will forget you in 30 seconds, when you're smoothing over tension for someone who has never once done the same for you, that's when you know something important. You've been giving away something precious to people who never deserved it. You don't need to stop apologizing. You just need to know who you're apologizing for. And why? Because the version of you that saves those words for the moments that actually need them, that version is not harder. That version is more honest. And the people in your life who matter, they don't need you to shrink to make them comfortable. They need the version of you that's actually there. If your brain overthinks the small things most people never even notice. If you find yourself apologizing before you've even decided to, that's not a flaw. That's a nervous system that has been working overtime to keep you safe and connected. And understanding that, really understanding it, is the first step toward choosing when to use it and when to put it down. This channel exists for exactly that kind of mind.